Welcome back to Let the Boys Watch, an entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Great Productions. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Robbie. Alongside me is a man who developed a speech impediment after giving Mia Wallace a foot massage and then getting thrown out of a four-story building. Awesome, Benny. How you feeling?
Hello.
And then alongside us, a man who was a stunt double for the Gimp.
Wow,
Hello. One of our co-hosts, our good friend Ryan.
that's pretty fucked up, Robbie.
Oh yeah, sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. And we are talking about the 1994 masterpiece by Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, starring John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Bruce Willis, Ving Rhames, Tim Roth, Harvey Keitel, and I think that's about it.
There's a couple big names.
Couple
Yeah,
big
couple.
names.
Yeah, well, thanks, Robbie. So like you said, we're gonna be talking about Pulp Fiction, which is on the top of many people's lists that were, of our age. And I'm sure we'll talk a lot about just Tarantino in general. So this puts us back on the wagon for written and directed by movies that we've watched. It is also our second movie featuring Bruce Willis. I don't think anyone else we've had a repeat yet. I don't think. Two.
Our second 1994 movie.
Yes. Which also, fun fact, this came out the exact same day as Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
They
really?
both
What a day.
October 14th, I believe. And they both got 7 Academy Award nominations, and they're both in the top 10 of probably many people's lists, but specifically IMDb, I'm sure a lot of other ones. So October 14th, good day. Maybe we should celebrate that as I don't know, we can call it 9.4 day. How's that sound?
I like it.
So before we get started, I just want to remind everyone to send us a fucking email, LTBW podcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, Let the Boys Watch Pod. And I don't know, just send us fucking text messages. I'm sure all of you listening probably know us.
Yeah, we got a lot of votes for Pulp Fiction this week.
We
So
did.
I was expecting some people to send us some emails or some text telling us how much they love the movie or things they
Something.
wanted us to talk about, but no luck.
Yeah, well, maybe there'll be some emails telling us how much we fucked this up.
Always welcomed.
Yeah. Um, so Benny has never seen Pulp Fiction, and I think Robbie, you said it's been a number of years, right?
Yeah, probably in the 7 to 10 year range. It's been a long time. I've seen a lot more other Quentin Tarantino movies a couple times during this time period, but Pulp Fiction I never went back to.
Wow. Was it like, I don't know, did it feel like fresh to you, like kind of new, or was it you saw it so many times it was just like revisiting an old friend?
No, it felt fresh. I one thing I completely forgot was how I thought Samuel L. Jackson was in the movie a little more. So I was surprised of like uh how less he was in the movie than I remember. But other than that, it was still fresh, still fucking fantastic.
Of
I remember
course.
still the all the memories flooded back once that came onto the screen.
Nice. And Benny, what were your like, thoughts, preconceived notions, whatever? Like, what did you think going into this? Because I'm sure this was probably one of the movies that when you mentioned it to people, they were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously there are some things about this movie that are in pop culture pretty regularly.
Right.
So there were things that I knew to expect, and there are things that when I heard them in the movie, I was like, oh, that's where that came from.
So you like
Um,
the meme with Leo pointing
yeah,
at the
pretty
screen,
much.
also from
Um,
Tarantino?
as far as like this movie, I really didn't know what to expect. I obviously like I expected a lot more Uma Thurman. I expected it to be a story about Vincent Vega and Uma Thurman's character. So, you know, when it bounced around a little bit and she wasn't in the movie as much as I thought, I was kind of like, all right, well, this is not what I expected at all. And I don't think I was surprised by that because it's Quentin Tarantino, so you know it's just going to be balls to the wall like craziness. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised at how long this movie has been out and how popular it is, about how fresh everything was to me. Like Shawshank, I pretty much knew the storyline, even without ever seeking it out. But this one was surprising at like all the twists and turns it took, and you know, a lot of my favorite things in movies popped up in this.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be hard for some people to like explain what this movie is about because it's not in chronological order. Whereas
Yeah,
Shawshank is like easy to say, guy gets arrested, put in jail for 20 years, but he didn't do it, and then he gets out. So like, end of story. Spoiler alert.
yeah, and like with Shawshank too, like I know that that epic shot of Tim Robbins popping out of the duty pipe and then, you know, with his arms in the air and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, well, obviously he got out.
Right.
Whereas this, the only things that I was familiar with is like John Travolta doing
Yep.
the fingers in front of his eyes and them dancing, and like I don't know. I mean obviously like all the memes of Samuel L. Jackson that came out of this, and the John Travolta meme with him in the house when he's looking
Yeah.
around. So like, but none of that really has much to do with the story. So all that stuff, you know, going into this one, I didn't know.
Nice.
Ryan, when was the last time you watched it?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah. Which was good because honestly, I did not have time to watch it this weekend. So if I hadn't watched it so recent, I probably would have just like, I don't know, forced it in somewhere. But yeah, I watched it pretty recently because it's fucking awesome.
yeah.
Um, so maybe overall impressions. Benny, do you want to start since you're the person who hadn't seen it, or Robbie, do you want to start, or should I start?
I spoke a lot there. Let's let Robbie go.
Well, my impressions are just, you know, when I first saw it, I was kind of all over the place because, like you said, the movie's like non-linear, so it's not in chronological order. It jumps around, so
Right.
it really shouldn't have worked, but it does work, and I love it so much of the way it worked. Um, Again, you know me. I mean, you guys know me, and the millions of viewers on the podcast probably do. I love, I just love dialogue. Spoiler: Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I love everything he does. But just the dialogue in this movie is so fresh. Even 25 years later, it's still fucking top notch. I loved everything about it. I just love the simple things because it feels like you and one of your friends are just talking. So, um, I'm not trying to jump around from like scene to scene, but even the scene when Jules and Vincent are talking about the foot massage, right? And you know, eating a girl out and the difference between it, like things like that, or just driving in a car talking about you know, the Royale with cheese and the metric system and how come it's different over in Europe. Those things are just like the stuff I love about Quentin Tarantino movies. It's just the dialogue. I love the music that he puts into every one of his movies. I love the way he shoots his movies. You know, some of my favorite scenes of like the way he shot the movie was when, say, Vincent was talking to the drug dealer in the room, and you're getting the shot from like basically the mirror to see the drug dealer. I love that. Um, yeah, man, I just love. I don't know. I just love everything about the way Quentin Tarantino shoots his movies. And like I said, the dialogue is just so fresh and it's funny and witty. And you know, that's what you don't need big action sequences or you don't need big CGI effects when movies are this well written and the story just flows so well, even though it shouldn't, obviously, the way it's shot and not in chronological order. But everything about this movie, you know, stands the test of time. And I just couldn't get enough of it 25 years ago. And watching it last night, just, you know, just remembering everything brought me back so much memories and how much I loved it.
I think back to on the scene, you know, you mentioned the mirror scene. There was another one when Vincent and Jules are washing their hands when they first get to Jimmy's, and you see Samuel L. Jackson in the mirror as well. Like you said, just all those cool shots that Quentin Tarantino's known for is just amazing.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, overall, it's definitely one of, and it's hard. I'm sure we'll get into it. One of my favorite Tarantino movies. I don't know if I could say that it's definitely my favorite, but that top like 3 or 4 movies, I feel like is interchangeable to a certain extent. But I mean, I've watched it, I don't know, countless times. It's definitely one of my favorites. And yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to add to that. I'm sure we'll talk about specific scenes, and Tarantino in general in a minute. But Benny, I'm curious about your overall impression since you haven't watched it, and I always am curious what your guys' impressions is of a movie that's you know been out for so long and you just never seen it. Like you're seeing it with 2023 eyes, whereas I think I saw it probably a few years after it came out. I'm sure Robbie saw it on opening night when he was like 8.
I saw it. I remember I legit. Sorry, the first time I watched it was in my old house on 116 15th Avenue on 6th Street. I was
You want to
11.
keep that in for the tape?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
All
I was
right.
11 years old. My dad was on the couch. I was on the couch. I think my Uncle Donald was on the couch, and we were just watching it. And I'll tell,
Nice.
and the most traumatizing scene in movie history, popped up. I'm like, what am I doing here as an 11-year-old?
See, that would have been 2 emails that I would have loved to gotten, one from your dad, one from Uncle Donald, to hear what they think of this movie.
And I
For
should
me,
have.
I loved it. Like Robbie mentioned, he stole a lot of my thunder there, but that opening scene with Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta in the car, just like that mindless chatter that you do with anybody when you're, driving somewhere. I love that. Like that's, it's not okay, here's where we're going. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. It's like it's real. It feels so real. And just the banter that they had between each other. I wasn't expecting. I mean, I guess I was, but the chemistry between the two of them was just amazing. Um,
Yeah,
even when
imagine
they
if I'm sorry to cut you off, Benny, but
no,
like
go ahead.
that opening scene, imagine if you had like zero knowledge of what this movie was about and you went in and it's just like these two dudes fucking shooting the shit, talking about nonsense, and then all of a sudden they're in that apartment and fucking shooting people and going
Yeah.
nuts. Like you probably would have been like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I'm glad that you brought that up because I was probably just going to go scene by scene with the whole movie here because I was going to bring that up next. And I was going to bring up, the complete tone change of then the Bruce Willis story. I mean, and that's even so I said that was the opening scene, but you get the Tim Roth scene in that real beginning of the movie, and then I thought they were going to be a huge part of the movie. So, it was just all the things in this movie hit for me. Like I loved everything about it. I love the way they told the story. I'm a big Tarantino reveal guy, so I love, even though you didn't know that was the end of the movie you were seeing in the beginning,
Right.
when it turns out it is, because I thought um that's how Jules was gonna die. But then I realized, oh wait, they're in the clothes that they ended up going back to the club in. So I thought I had one over Quentin Tarantino being like, oh, those two are gonna pop back up, but it's hard for me to sit here and get this concise to like a couple minutes because there's just so much to talk about in this movie. But overall impressions were, I super loved it.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna miss a ton of stuff because I mean, I think there's one scene that I like don't like watching, but it's not like it's a bad scene. It's an awesome scene. I just don't love watching it. It's like a little cringy for me, but all the all the scenes are amazing and they're so different. So like when we did like Jaws or Shawshank, it's like you talk about the story. Yeah, you miss maybe some details because we can't talk for 37 hours here. But here it's going to
Oh,
be
we're gonna try.
difficult. We're going to try. I mean, you guys can try. I got to go to bed. But I'm sure we'll get to as many scenes as possible. Before we do that though, I'm curious about plum ratings. And then I want to talk like Tarantino just a little bit as a whole, and then we'll talk about scenes and favorite
Mhm.
characters and stuff like that. So who wants to go first?
Does
You,
anybody want?
You want me to go
right?
first?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
Mr. 9.4. He's like Mr.
Uh
305 for the of the
Yeah,
podcast
I'm
industry.
curious. I'm very curious what
Mr.
you're gonna
Worldwide.
put.
Um so I had a little bit of a internal struggle with this because I was thinking about it and I was like, maybe I'll go with this, maybe I'll go with that. And then I was like thinking about Shawshank, honestly, and thinking about the 9.4 that I gave it. And it really came down to if I had to choose between Pulp Fiction and Shawshank, like which would I choose? And then I argued with myself some more. And then I decided to give Pulp Fiction a 9.5 because
Okay.
I think I would if I had to choose one of these films, I would go with Pulp Fiction. Even though maybe Shawshank's probably a better film, like as like a I don't know, maybe a cinephile or whatever. Maybe I mean I'm sure people would argue that, but for a movie that I like just slightly more, it's Pulp Fiction. And to be honest, I don't even know if Pulp Fiction is my favorite Tarantino. So maybe there's a little room there for a little higher than 9.5, but I'm going to go with 9.5 for Pulp Fiction.
Robbie, you want to go? You want me to go?
Uh, I can go. I'm curious to see your uh, last minute reveal. So, um, sorry. Again, like I said, I told you I love Tarantino. I love everything about his movies. I love like just again, huge dialogue guy, and I love the way he writes movies. I don't even want to use the word hip, but he's such a doofy looking dude that it's so crazy to me how his brain works and how much he intertwines like such great music into his movies and such great dialogue.
Yep.
I think it's just I think I truly believe he's a genius. Everything he does, I just love about it. I was with you, Ryan. Do I think Shawshank's a better movie? I don't. It was so tough between these two, and I know I gave the 9.6 for Shawshank, but I'm going to give Pulp Fiction a 9.8.
Oh, nice.
That's how much I love this movie, and I love I just how much this movie entertains me and keeps me on my toes and just keeps me entertained. Like 2 hours passed, and I checked to see how much time is left, and it just 2 hours just flew by.
All right.
Yeah, for me, we talk about the watch test and keeping an eye on how much time is left. I didn't do that with Shawshank, but when Shawshank ended, I was like, okay, I'm satisfied. Like Pulp Fiction, we got to the end and I was like, damn, I want more of this. And not only that, it was the first thing that we've watched other than Succession because I felt like we needed to go a little bit more in depth, but I wanted to watch it again before we recorded, and I just ran out of time and I couldn't do it, just because there was like so much to the dialogue that I wanted to go back and watch it with subtitles because I know they're either talking fast or the classic movie volume thing going on. Um, but like you, Ryan, I kind of went back and forth with a couple of greats, but the first one that came to my mind was a 10.
I know
And
it.
and I have to do it. I have to give it a 10. And and the thing that I thought about Ryan was the same thing you did is like I don't even know if this is my favorite Tarantino movie. And I said it previously, but there can be more than 110. So I'm curious now to like because I haven't seen Inglorious Bastards in maybe like
Oh,
2 or 3 years now. But to me that was always a 10.
right.
So I had to do it, man. It was just such a fun ride. Like Robbie said, the music, the acting, like I don't want to spoil any of the things I want to bring up later, but like the people who popped up into this movie, um, even like when it switched to the Bruce Willis thing, I was like, this is where this movie's going to hit a lull for me. And I'm not going to be super into it because I was so invested in those original characters that we got that like to switch it completely. I felt like it was going to be a downer for me, but they nailed that story. So yeah, top to bottom, I had to give it a 10.
Nice. Our
Love it.
first 10.
Love it.
Um, so all right. I'm just looking because I want to make sure that I have all of them, and we're gonna go just with director. I mean, we could some of them are writer. But which all right, so I guess which ones haven't you seen, Benny? Um, you haven't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Haven't seen that. Haven't seen Once Upon a Time.
Okay. And
Um,
have you seen Kill Bill?
I've seen Kill Bill 1 for sure. I don't
Uh-huh.
remember if I saw Kill Bill 2. I think I might have watched them at the same time.
Okay.
Which he dies in the second one, right, Bill? Or does he die in the first?
Second.
Okay, so then I've definitely seen him.
Spoiler.
'Cause yeah, because I remember that fight scene with him, Keith
Yeah.
Carradine, right? Or
Yeah.
David Carradine. Um,
Yes.
and I think I've seen the rest except like the Grindhouse one.
Yeah. And you've seen Hateful Eight and Django?
Oh, I haven't seen Hateful Eight, but I've seen Django.
Okay. And Jackie Brown?
No. Okay, so
Okay.
I've seen less than I thought.
Yeah. Okay. And Robbie, have you seen them all, or are there any that you're missing?
Just the what a death proof and the grindhouse one thing.
Grindhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. And I've seen them all. But yeah, I mean, overall, I love Pulp Fiction, but I don't know if it's my favorite. I think I love Inglorious Bastards. I fucking love them all, but like Django, I think Django might be my favorite, actually. Um, I love Hateful Eight, even though a lot of people don't love it as much. Once Upon a Time, it's funny. Once Upon a Time, the first time I saw it, I was like, eh. And then I watched it again and I was like, I fucking love this movie. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Pulp Fiction's my favorite. It probably is just to have a favorite, but they're all very good. I love a lot. I love almost all of them.
I mean, for me, nothing I don't think ever grabbed me in the beginning of a movie like Inglorious Bastards. The
So
scene
good.
with Shoshana like hiding.
Oh, so fucking good.
It's just so, and there's like so many scenes in that movie that I could just say, oh wait, no, but that's probably my favorite. Robbie sent the picture of the three fingers,
I love that scene.
the
Yeah.
German three.
Yeah.
Like
Um
Laza.
like that's such a fantastic scene. The Bear Jews scene is amazing. The scene in the movie theater. I don't know, and that's why like I struggled with giving this a 10, but because of Inglorious Bastards and how much I loved it. But the first thing that came to my mind when thinking about ratings was a 10.
Yeah.
What about you, Robbie? What do you think? What's your favorite?
I don't know, man. Honestly, Inglorious Bastards has been creeping up to number one, but Django is so good, man.
So fucking good.
So good. I don't for some reason Django could be one. I love Django. I love Jamie Foxx in that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie. He's so good. And
Christoph
Christoph
Waltz is
Waltz
my
is
fucking man.
he's the
Yeah.
best. So uh, if anything, I'd probably go Inglorious Bastards 1, Pulp Fiction 2, Django 3, Reservoir Dogs 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um
So good.
what am I missing?
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill, Jackie Brown,
Jackie Brown. Yeah.
Kill Bill 2,
Hateful Eight.
and Hateful Eight. Oh, fuck. Whatever. Kill Bill, Jackie Brown, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Whatever. It doesn't matter. That's how I'd rank them. I don't know, man. Like you said, Benny, I rewatched the first 20 minutes of the opening scene of Inglourious Basterds, and it's just so fucking ridiculously shot. The acting is unbelievable. Christoph Waltz is fucking phenomenal in that part. Just switching from French to English to German. He's all over the place. It's so great. And that fucking bar scene is 15 minutes of just intense anxiety over just simple ass dialogue and
Yeah.
just the way things are shot. That's ridiculously shot. everything is just amazing from that movie. So I'd have to go Inglourious Basterds with Pulp and Django just like inching up.
Fair.
Yeah, it's like all that matters is like maybe your top three or top four, and then everything after that is probably on the same level. I feel.
Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to bring up about Quentin Tarantino, and we spoke briefly before this started, but the one thing that I guess I was a little uncomfortable with it, but like just the rampant use of the N-word in this movie. And I feel like we didn't get that. Obviously, you don't get that in Inglourious Bastards or a lot of the other movies, and you get it in Django Unchained, but it felt,
Right.
all right, well, what can you do? Like that's
Yeah,
just
it's the time
how,
period. Yeah.
yeah. But like there are a lot of times where I felt like, man, you really wanted to get this into the script.
Yeah.
And then like
Right.
not only that, like casting himself in the part of the guy that said it 19,000 times in the course of a minute. Um, I wasn't gonna dock any points to the movie or anything like that because of it, but it was just on my mind a little bit. Like even when it popped up the first couple times in the movie, I was like, okay, whatever. But that was the point in the movie where I was like, oof, do we have a Quentin Tarantino problem here?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you can say like, I mean, the use of that word was never appropriate, but you know, as time has gone on, it's more and more like inappropriate for certain people to use. I mean, I remember like even in the 90s, people being like I don't know if I like that. Like
Yeah.
that it was like he wasn't, canceled or whatever you might say today, but like I definitely remember people being like, I don't know if he should be saying that. But
Especially because he went hard R.
right, right,
Like a
right.
lot of hard R's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure that maybe Samuel L. Jackson or whatever. I'm sure there's stories of like him just being like, it's all right. Like, but again, even that, like, I don't know. I don't know if I even should be commenting on it right now.
No, I know. But there was that, I think there was that story about um Django where
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio didn't want to say it
Yes.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
front of
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx is like,
It's
these are
in
the
the script.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what can you do? Yeah, but that was like doesn't he have any other like weird Quentin Tarantino stories? Didn't he have like a foot fetish or something?
Oh yeah. I mean, like Mia Wallace or Uma Thurman barely wear. I don't think she wears shoes hardly at all. Um, the cab driver, and then just in general, he always has like foot shots in a lot of his movies.
Yeah, the
And the
Margot
foot
Robbie foot shot
Yep.
in Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, I did actually dock points because he was so bad in this movie. And dropping the hard R made me super uncomfortable. I totally forgot that he, you know, dropped the N bomb in this movie multiple times. So I did dock it. I'm not trying to be some righteous person, but I'm just saying I just docked it because of that and his acting. That annoyed me.
I mean, I liked him otherwise. Like, it was bad, but like good at the same time. Don't fucking Jimmy me, Jules. Okay.
And I think the thing that like it wasn't, even if this was like some white guy in the 70s or 80s, you could be like, all right, what, kind of whatever. But it was like very clearly of the time that the movie was shot. So I was like, I don't
Right.
think people are that crazy with it, but
Uh,
excuse me.
um, yeah, no, agree. But again, we're also looking at it from 2023 eyes.
Yeah.
So, but I did definitely remember people being like, I don't know about that.
But where
Um,
would you guys, I know Robbie says he's his favorite, but where do you guys rank Quentin Tarantino in your maybe top three directors?
shit. He might be number one. I mean, him, um, Edgar Wright, Christopher Nolan. Um, I mean,
Scorsese?
Scorsese, but he's also
Scorsese.
made a couple stink A's.
And he tends to almost be long for the sake of being long.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess he's definitely up top three. I never really thought about it before,
I
but
probably go. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, continue.
I probably go Tarantino, Scorsese, Nolan, Fincher.
Oh,
Um,
fuck yeah, good call, Fincher.
social,
And you
social.
and you haven't seen Fight Club, right?
No, but
What?
Social Networks probably in my top five favorite movies of all time. Um,
Wait, so
Zod
have both of you not seen Fight Club?
I've seen
Yeah, you definitely saw it because you're an angsty teenager.
it.
Zodiac, Gone Girl. So I Mindhunter on Netflix. So I do love the Finch.
Yeah, he's good. You
And
gotta
I
watch
don't know
Fight
who
Club
else.
then. Um, yeah. What I mean, Benny, I know you haven't seen them all, but most of them, where does he sit?
He's up there. I mean, it's a very uneducated opinion, but I would
Yeah,
probably say
super.
he's my favorite. I do like Scorsese. Yeah, I mean, it sucks because like there are probably a couple that I don't even realize directed the same movie, but I can say for a fact now I'm not an Adam McKay fan. Like I like the movies that he's a part of, but I feel like he always takes something away from the movie for me because just he's like dramatic, just not dramatic, but like uses graphics and stuff just for the sake of using them. And like in W and The Big Short a little bit. Like Big Short, I think was probably his best one. But in W, it just like it was killing me.
Yeah.
It was
Don't
no,
look
not W, Cheney, Dick Cheney, or whatever the name of that movie was. Vice,
Vice.
Dick.
Dick, Dick the movie, double feature with Jugs on the Run, director's cut.
So we got a 10, a 9.5, and a 9.8, right?
Wow.
Love it. Do you think we should watch like a shitty movie ever?
Yes, for
Just have
sure.
like some garbage scores.
Yeah.
All right, good.
We got to watch that movie. I mean, I know it's been done to death on like podcasts, but that movie, The Room.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few of my friends back in I used to work with would go to like it was like we would play at a theater
Yeah.
and they would go and just watch it, but I heard it was a fucking horrible movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a short period of time where I was like, I love bad B movies and like garbage, like so bad it's good. But now I watch things like that and I'm like, I'm not wasting fucking 2 hours of my time doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Send us
Uh,
your shitty movies, a shitty movie that we should watch, please.
yeah,
LTBW
please.
podcast at gmail.com.
Please. And please make sure you send Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That's my favorite. So should we get into this film and talk about it?
Let's do it.
All right. I think we should go favorite character first because we did least favorite the last 2 weeks. Benny, I would love to hear who your favorite character was because you've never seen it before. And there's
All
so many
right.
to choose from.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm not for the first time in a couple weeks. I'm not going top of the draft board here, but I may feel like I might be stealing someone's pick. But I'm gonna go Harvey Keitel as the wolf.
You motherfucker.
I love that scene. He's so fucking cool, and he was like Mike Ehrmantraut before Mike Ehrmantraut was Mike Ehrmantraut. So give me Harvey Keitel as the wolf because he just bleeds cool, baby.
Yeah. Let's not start sucking each other's dicks here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was and that I think that was the line that made me want to rewatch it because I was like, I can't forget that line because I need to say it at some point. So thank you for bringing that up because I did forget it.
It's a fucking awesome line.
I try to work
Just
that in all the time, and every time I say it, people are like, all right, take
what?
it easy.
But even like I love how you expected him to be like an asshole to John Travolta when he was like, please would be nice.
Yeah.
And then like he went, the way that dialogue back and forth was just so funny.
I think fast, I talk fast, I act fast.
Yeah. And he's like, let's get it straight. Like you called me for my expertise. Like not, like I'm not here for pleases. Um, I just love it. I love a good fixer. I love, like I said, Mike Ehrmantraut, one of the best of all time. So yeah, I knew I was gonna steal someone's pick, but I wanted to leave the big dogs for you guys.
Here was being fucking nice, letting Benny go first,
I
and
was secretly loving that because I
I
was like,
get fucking cucked. Robbie, go please, because I gotta think of someone.
Well, my favorite character has always been my favorite character since the first time he came on the screen, and that is none other than Jules Winfield, the best in the business, the bad motherfucker himself. Um, I just love Samuel L. Jackson in this movie. I think this is his best part. Uh, I'm still devastated that he didn't win an Oscar, a Best Supporting Actor, not Oscar. Just everything about him is cool. His his Jerry curl's fantastic. His suit's awesome. The way he talks, how calm and cool he can be in certain moments, and then how fucking evil he can be in other moments. I just thought that he was just lights out in every scene he was in. The first time I saw him on screen as a young 11-year-old, I was hooked, and my feelings haven't changed, 25, 30 years later. He's as cool as they come, talking about burgers, talking about fucking uh foot massages, just talking about the fawns, and then, just talking about, check out the big brain on Brad over there. Just things
I
like that.
I ended unofficial intelligence with that quote. I said, "Check out the big brain on Brett." I was like, "Oh, I think I got that wrong."
Love it. Um, so I mean, those are my two favorite characters, but I also have, I mean, I like a lot of the characters. Uma Thurman's great in this film. I I hate saying it, but I love John Travolta as Vincent Vega, but I just don't like him, but that's fine. But I'm gonna go with Marcellus Wallace, Ving Rhames.
Oh, so good.
I love him in everything, but in this movie, he's so good. Just his demeanor, the way he talks, he's like, for the most part, obviously, certain scenes he's a little angrier, but for the most part, he's just very calm, cool, collected. You brought up the wolf, and when Jules calls him, and he's just like, "What's the situation?" Just being so cool. I'm sending the wolf direct.
Yeah.
That's all you had to say, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just and I I don't know about you guys, but lines from movies and shows like run through my head like pretty much constantly all day long. And one line that runs through my head often is "Step aside, Butch." All I don't know why it just sticks out, but I love him in this film. But like I said, so many great actors. Pumpkin, Honey Bunny, both great. Just you could really pick and make the argument for almost anyone. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with Marcellus Wallace.
So let me bring up something to you right now.
Please.
We talked about Tiny Lester in
Yes.
Fifth Element, and you
Would he have
famously,
would he have
you,
been better?
yeah, you famously defended him
I
to
did.
the point where they were
People
running stories
question my credibility.
yeah, they were running stories on TMZ
Oh my
about
god.
why does this man have a podcast?
Yeah.
Because
would,
anyone can make one. There's no
yeah.
credentials needed.
Would Ving Rhames have been better as the president in Fifth Element?
Oh yeah, of course. He's Ving Rhames is better, but I still like Tiny Lester in that role. So shut the fuck up.
Carve it on his tombstone.
I
Here
will.
lies a
Yeah,
man who defended Tiny Lester till his
that's
death.
right. I'll defend him to the end of my days too. You can put his picture on mine.
My
Although I famously said, don't get a tombstone. Just fucking throw me in a dumpster.
pretty fucking far from okay.
Pretty fucking far from okay.
My,
You
my
hear
favorite
that?
my favorite what is this is my I think it's one of my favorite lines from him in the movie when he's looking for Butch.
Yeah.
Come in, they can't find him, and he goes, "I'm prepared to scour the earth for that motherfucker. If Butch goes to Indochina, I want a blank hide in a bowl of rice ready to pop a cap in his ass."
No, love it. And then I know we're getting into the other things, but like the fact that in this film, Tarantino had him walking down the street with a box of donuts and he sees Butch and that's how they meet. Like, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
Like almost any other writer director is like probably having his henchmen find him or some shit. I mean, he did send Vincent, but he got fucking shot. It's just so good.
And it's just so good too, because like, oh, just when you think he's getting away, of all people, for Butch to see, it's the man himself.
Yeah, just as he was pumped up singing songs in his car.
Yeah.
One last Butch quote, please, at the when he gets saved.
Please.
I guess Butch, I mean Marcel, I guess Butch
Yeah.
asks him what now, and he goes, "What now? Let me tell you what now. Gonna call a couple of hard pipe hitting fucks to go to work on on the homes here with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch."
So good.
I love it. Good choice. There's my two Ani mentions were the Wolf and Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah.
Yeah, great choices.
Great choices. Now, I think probably pretty difficult, but who are your least favorite characters? I guess I have to go first. Not because I want to pick first, but that's how snake draft works. I'm gonna go with, even though I love the scene, and I mean I love all the scenes, but something about both characters, Jody and the drug dealer, just fucking bother me.
Really?
Like, just like, I know they're good and their characters are good. I think honestly, I mean the scene. We'll probably talk about it later, but the one scene that bothers me is with them, and I don't know. I just have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, and it's funny. I used to hate Honey Bunny and Pumpkin, but I like them now. Like, after watching it a number of times.
Tim Roth is just a god.
I mean, yeah, they're both awesome. What do you guys think? Do you have a least favorite character?
Can I give you a quick tangent first?
Yeah, please.
Did you, because I brought it up to me, did you guys ever watch that show Lie to Me with
Nope.
Tim Roth?
No.
So, do you know the premise of it?
He asked people to lie to him.
Yes. Well, see, he's like a body language expert or whatever,
Okay.
and like the FBI or whatever will call him in to like question witnesses or suspects, and he has to, but she loved it, so I wanted to shout it out, and she said it got canceled too soon. So Tim Roth, the god.
It's kind of like a show on now called Poker Face. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, with shit, I forgot her name, but she, like, for whatever reason, knows when people are lying. It's pretty good.
They stole the premise.
Kind of. Natasha Lyonne. And it's also Ryan Johnson did it. It's good. I mean, it's not the best, but anyway, we're talking Pulp Fiction. So, least favorite character. I think it's Robbie's turn.
Oh, I was going back and forth, back and forth. My least favorite character is Jimmy.
All right,
Jimmy.
fair.
Yeah, just Jimmy annoyed me.
Okay.
I think he thought he was a lot tougher than those three guys in the room, and he wasn't. And when he's taught when the wolf's like, "What do they look like, Jimmy?" And he's like, "Look like a couple of dorks, a couple of dorks." I was like, "Shut the fuck up, Tarantino. Go back behind the camera. Stop trying to be all in the videos. Like, just get the fuck out of here, bro. You're not P. Diddy. Get the fuck away. Go back behind the camera. Write some funny fucking lines." Everything about Jimmy annoyed me. I love Tarantino, like I said, but his face just annoys the shit out of me.
Really?
He's got a very punchable face. But yeah, Jimmy just annoyed me. Him dropping the hard R, thinking he's a tough guy and he's soft as dog shit. Yeah, I could have done without Tarantino as Jimmy. So Jimmy's my least favorite character.
Really?
Love Tarantino.
Yeah.
But he can annoy the shit out of me.
The director.
The director. The actor, take a hike.
For me, I would love to give a long, beautiful soliloquy like Robbie did and give you the myriad of reasons why this is my least favorite character. But give me Kathy Griffin as Kathy Griffin.
Oh, man, good choice.
Because go fuck yourself. You took me out of the movie. Only slightly behind or slightly in front of the Rosie O'Donnell lookalike that got shot next to Bruce.
Right in the hip.
The gawkers in that scene were funny, but yeah, Kathy, you killed it for me. How dare you show up in this movie?
Can I get an Ani Mensch?
Yes.
My Ani Mensch is Honey Bunny.
Yeah.
I never liked her from the start. I didn't like her from the beginning. She just skeeved me out, especially when she had that spit dangling from the side of her lip on the chin. Yeah, she sucked. They could Tim, what happened?
Tim Roth could do better.
Oh, 100%. And that's what kind of pissed me off. There's no way in real life Tim Roth's hanging out with Honey Bunny and they're traveling the world, banging in the car and robbing diners.
Fair. So any other mentions for either favorite character or least favorite that we forgot?
I mean, it's not. I hated him because the actor was bad, but Zed, go fuck yourself.
Obviously.
Go fuck yourself with a hard K at the end of
Yeah.
that fuck.
Wow.
I got Ani Mensch, John Vincent Vega's bowel movements. That boy be shitting this whole movie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why
But was he
resonated
shitting or
so
was
well
he
with me.
doing heroin?
I think that's why Ben liked him so much. They both had their fiber intakes through the roof.
I don't know if he was doing H because he had the book both times. I don't think you need a book to shoot up unless you're looking up the instructions.
Yeah, maybe. All right. So moving from characters to scenes, should we do favorite or least favorite first?
Switch.
Do faves.
Okay.
Oh no, let's do
no,
let's do least. No.
At
You
least.
said it first.
Yeah, at least.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got least favorite. So who wants to go first? Robbie, why don't you go first?
Okay. This is simple for me because this traumatized me as an 11-year-old and it still traumatizes me to this day. It's when my man Marcellus gets his butthole opened up by Zed. The Gimp scared the shit out of me as a little boy. The Gimp still scares me now. I mean, that's a tough sleeping arrangement for the Gimp.
In a box.
Yeah, that's very tough for him. But yeah, I still try to rationalize why this scene is in the movie. I understand. I mean, they think they could have did something a little bit less disgusting. But yeah, this scene always fucks with me and I hate it. And I hate seeing my man Marcellus getting bent over and gagged and and bounded. But yeah, it's still my least favorite scene. It's always gonna be my least favorite scene. And shout out to Ving Rhames for having the audacity to go through it and having that masculinity to not give a fuck.
A second movie in a few weeks where someone got fucked against their will.
Yeah. True.
Tell me about
it. Seems to it's these awkward sex scenes seem to coincide with movies that are written and directed by the same person.
Oh, I thought you meant the scene where Jaws was butt fucking good.
No, I meant when Andy Dufresne got it up to Dufresne.
Oh, okay, right. From the sisters.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's true. I think my least favorite scene was, I mentioned it already, but when they give the adrenaline shot to Mia, I don't like it.
Why?
I just don't
because
like it.
It skeeves you out?
It skeeves me out a little bit. Like just I don't know. And usually normally that stuff doesn't bother me, like gore, and like surgery shit in movies and shows and whatever. But for some reason, that shit freaks me out.
As a person who recently passed out when he got blood taken, I fucking love that scene because just the way she reacted and she gets up and it's still in her chest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was, I don't want to say cool, but it was just like, it felt real. It felt, I loved it, especially thinking again, another, and I kind of knew that was coming too, but I also thought that she was going to die and that was going to be a driving force of the movie.
With Marcellus and
with Marcellus and Vincent. But I do remember that was one of the things that I know, that she gets stabbed, or some, maybe I thought somebody got stabbed in the heart with an adrenaline shot. I didn't know it was her, but I knew that was coming.
My favorite part of that scene was when Travolta's screaming, "Get the shot!"
And when the drug dealer's like, when I bring someone to your house who's about to die, then I'll do it.
Yeah, right.
Good scene. Great scene.
What about you?
My I don't know, man. Giving it a 10 to me kind of means that there weren't any least favorite scenes for me.
Kathy
Um,
Griffin?
besides Kathy Griffin, I don't want to double up on her. Um, I guess I'll be cheap here and say it was the Jimmy scene with the hard R's, even though I loved the scene. I just love that whole them going to him and figuring out what to do. It was if anything was going to bother me about the movie, it was that. So,
Oh,
I'll pick that. I wish I had something funnier to say, or something we could discuss a little more, but I'll pick that.
good choice. Should we do
Thanks.
favorite scenes? Because I feel like we're gonna have a lot of Ani Menches.
Yeah.
Who wants
Yeah.
to wait? So who went for who went? Yeah, Benny, you go because you went last with least favorite.
Um, all right, so I'll
And
save
save.
that.
Listen,
I'll say
save
I
Ani
always
Menches till
save
the
my
end.
Ani mentions. I
No,
always save my.
you're a big Ani Mensch guy. Save it at the end.
All right. Well, it is my term, so fuck you. All right, so I'll go ending, just because Samuel L. Jackson had scene was so fucking good. Sorry, bud. You didn't want any mentions. That's still your pick. uh he was so fucking good in that. Just the whole like negotiation between the four of them that it ends up being, the you get the explanation of the Ezekiel quote. um he just acted his effing balls off in this scene, in the whole movie really, but just getting that he follows through on the realization that he had. I love a Tarantino. It's called a Tarantino for a reason, when they show the end of the movie first and then they bring it all back. So just like I love a reveal, I love a Tarantino, because if you pull it off right, and not a lot of movies do, obviously, like I said, it's a Tarantino for the reason, and he just nailed it. Um, you know, I love someone mentioned the Fonz line before, and what is the Fonz? The Fonz is cool, so everybody be cool. Um, just Samuel L. Jackson in a movie with so many eccentric characters and like things that would never happen in real life. Samuel L. Jackson to me like felt so real. It's aside from the fact that he's a friggin' hitman, he just, the way he acted, he could have been my favorite character in the movie, but to me, it was just the perfect end of the movie, and I just loved it.
Fun fact, great choice, great scene. Uh, that role is supposed to go to Lawrence Fishburne.
Interesting,
Really
but he's no Sammy.
No,
interesting. Is it my turn or Robbie? Do you go?
I got a couple on mentions.
Not yet.
I can go because I don't think this is going to be your favorite scene, Ryan.
How do you know?
Because I
Because
know
it's
you.
Marcellus Wallace getting fucked.
Yes, it's my least favorite scene and my favorite scene
That is a good scene.
because I got to see Marcel Wallace's buns getting penetrated. No, Ryan, you can go.
No, I want you to go now.
All right, my favorite scene after Benny took my other favorite scene is the apartment scene with
Oh,
Jules, Vinny Vegas, and Brad and the boys. I love the lead up to that scene. Again, the car talk, and then walking into the apartment complex and talking about the foot massage, opposed to going down on a girl, and then just them at the door saying, "All right, let's get into character." When Jules said, "Let's get into character," and he busts in, and he's just full go right from the jump. Just the little simple lines. What he's like, what does he say? He's like, just be cool there, flock of seagulls. Talking to the guy on the couch, having the guy sit on the
I remember
couch.
asking you a goddamn thing.
Yeah. He says, and then he's like, he's eating a kahuna burger.
Yeah.
Like, oh, breakfast. He's like the cornerstone. He's like, burgers, the cornerstone of every meal. Or it's whatever he says. I just love that. Eating the burger, drinking all the dude's Sprite,
That
and
is a
then
tasty burger.
and then just fucking, going into his Ezekiel speech. And then even my favorite shot is when he's talking and then he closes up and he turns around and, Tarantino just shoots him from the face. And then he just fucking kind of just goes full evil, shoots the dude, asks him what does Marcellus Wallace look like? What? He's like, does he look like a bitch? And then he fucking shoots him, shoots Flock of Seagulls first, then that guy, and then Jerry Seinfeld comes out from the back.
What's the deal with that?
What's the deal with murder?
Die,
Come on.
motherfucker. Die, please die, motherfucker. And then kind of just, saying how that was kind of divine intervention that him and Vincent are alive. I thought that was just, if the diner scene was his Oscar winning fucking acting speech, this was a close second. I love this scene. I love everything about it.
Say what again, motherfucker?
Oh yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
And just the part, you mentioned too, when he goes, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. Just the way he stares at him and he holds the stare, and then he just slowly turns his head back around when he's ready to like engage everybody else again. So good.
And I love how he sets that whole thing up with like being, you could say maybe nice, but also like what's the word I
Charismatic.
want? Charismatic, but like dominating. Like he dominates them immediately. He's just like, give me a fucking piece of your burger, give me a drink, and just like complete controls the situation. And Vincent in the background just fucking mulling around. Like he's like, what do they call him? Royale with cheese. Poking around looking for the thing. Yeah, great choice. Great choice, Robbie. That is one of my favorite scenes. It would have been a Nani Mensch, but I do have to go with anything with the wolf in it. So basically that whole scene of, and I know there's maybe some problems with some of it, but from the time that they shoot him in the head in the car and get to Jimmy's house and call the wolf, and the wolf cleans it up, the whole Bonnie situation, just love that scene. Even the end with them at the fucking
the junkyard.
The junkyard, and he's just like, I see a taxi ride. and one thing I say all the time is, just because you are a character doesn't mean you have character. And I love that line from Harvey Keitel. So good. Just everything about it I love. So that's why he was gonna be my favorite character.
I don't know him. I know who he is. Right. I don't know if I've seen him in a lot of movies, but man, I was not expecting him to be that fucking perfect in the like you said, from the second he came on screen to the second, and it's just so beautiful that it's just that short. You get him for like 15-20 minutes and he just pulls off in the car, never to be heard from or mentioned again. It's just so fucking good. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, you did not see Reservoir Dogs, correct?
No.
He's in that. He's also in a smaller part, but I love him in the Grand Budapest Hotel. Oh, favorite director, Wes Anderson. Forgot about him. But he's in a ton of stuff. But I think you're right. Like, he typically doesn't always play a character like that, and he was just absolutely perfect in it.
He's in Mean Streets with De Niro.
Yeah, that's true. That's
good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I love it too when he's like, all right, it's 30 minutes away. I'll be there in 10.
9 minutes and 57 seconds later.
So good.
He's so good in this movie.
I keep piggybacking off your pick, Ryan, but
yeah,
I was an Ani Mensch of mine was going to be just the car ride when they do shoot him in the head. and just how that all goes down, the conversation
You
between the two
gotta
of them.
have an opinion.
Yeah. You hit a bump. I didn't hit a fucking bump.
Yep.
Man, I shot Marvin in the head.
It's so funny too, because like, again, it's the, I guess, the Tarantino thing where just like the wackiest shit happens and you're not expecting it, because they go through that whole scene and they keep him alive and he's in the car and it's just boom over just like that, and it ends up driving, you know you go down to, it's a tangent in movie form, and it's it's a successful tangent.
Agree. So who wants to share their Ani Mentions first,
Well, Benny coined the phrase. So let him go first.
please?
um Another out of left field thing for me was the Christopher Walken appearance.
So
What
good.
do you want? You told me to go first.
I think you're going to take Christopher Walken, Captain Coons.
because of how serious that scene was and the way it ended, and him coming out of nowhere and me being like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? And then, when it's revealed, I think they call him Butch right off the bat, and I hadn't made that connection that Butch was who Butch was. But I was like, well, where are we going now? Like, what year is this? Like, the time doesn't make sense, and then it all kind of clicked towards the end of it for me. But come on, you can't put Christopher Walken in anything and expect me not to say anything about it.
And I forgot. Like me too. I was like,
This
what?
much.
Why is he in this again? And then it comes full circle with Butch going back to the apartment. So 2 years I had to suck my ass.
Fun fact, he's probably, and there's a lot of connections in the Tarantino universe, but he's probably related to someone from Django.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of the names?
Both of the last name Coons. Yeah.
And Vincent Vega is
Yep.
the brother of Michael Madsen's character in Reservoir Dogs.
Vic Vega.
Vic Vega.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mr. Blonde, I think. He was Mr. Blonde, I'm pretty sure.
You spoiled
Great.
it. Now I can't see it.
Yeah, it's the movies. We just spoiled the whole movie. Robbie, please go before Benny steals another one.
Yeah, please. I mean, there's nothing left.
I'm picking chalk, babe.
You're right. Well, it was going to be the Christopher Walken scene. I had that. Brian, you also the wolf scene, the Bonnie situation. But I'm going to have to go with the Jackrabbit Slims.
Damn it, that was mine.
Just come on, man. You're gonna get Travolta out on the fucking dance floor. How dare you?
Throw Steve Buscemi in the mix.
Steve Buscemi as Buddy Holly.
Yep.
I even like the subtle me thinking that there was two Marilyn Monroe's there, and Travolta corrects her, and then he says, "I forgot the other actress." She said, but she's
Jane
like,
Mansfield.
Yeah. She's like Jane Mansfield, but I guess she has the night off. And then the milkshakes, the $5 milkshake, and then Travolta getting his steak, bloody. What does he say? Jerry Lewis?
Bloody as hell.
Yeah, but the whole thing is the thing that I love too, and like how can you just constantly be smoking cigarettes while eating?
Yeah.
That was just they were just fucking puffing sick left and right. But yeah, love that scene, and love the scene leading up to it. Obviously, when he goes to the apartment, I definitely thought they were going to smash and dash when I first watched that movie, but that wasn't the case.
Well, I like that scene too when he's, when they were about to smash and dash, when he's talking to himself in the bathroom, and he's like, "You're just gonna go home, you're gonna jerk off, and that'll be that."
Yeah, I mean, that's a great scene. I think we really haven't mentioned him, but all the scenes with Bruce Willis are great. The scene with him in the taxi cab after he killed the other boxer, talking with his I think, I don't know if they really ever say, but maybe not his wife, but his girlfriend. And then, obviously him going back to the apartment to get the watch and killing Vincent, and then the whole scene with Marcellus and the fucking Gimp and just everybody. Whether you like those scenes or not, they're fucking awesome scenes. Um, I don't know. I feel like we've said almost all the scenes.
It's so fucking good. That's why.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I think we covered them all.
I'll get told by Aya tomorrow or whenever this comes out that we missed something important.
Well, isn't that what
Emails are
a
for
wife's job? Well,
that too.
um,
Trying to think. I forgot. I'm trying to think of. I think we kind of covered them
like
all.
almost every scene. I'm sure we probably forgot something. We're not smart, so I'm sure we forgot something.
The other thing too is like all the scenes are pretty long. So
Right.
for us to name like 6 or 7, like we pretty much hit everything.
Yeah. Um, so now I don't think that we can, but is there any way that we could make this movie better?
I'm going fucking last. Okay.
Well, you rated it 10, so I don't your answer is gonna be no.
I still have something.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna say I I don't know if I could. I don't think I maybe if you played with the um like the chronology of the scenes a little bit. Like I know some people don't like that it's like all jumbled up, but I like that. You know, I think it's great, especially from like a first or second watch. It's like super interesting, especially before a number of other movies kind of copied that style. Um, but maybe doing that a little bit, but honestly, I don't really have any thoughts. I don't know if you guys do. Robbie, do you have any?
No, I think this movie's perfect as it is. I really can't think of anything to make this movie better. Obviously, get fucking Jimmy out of there, and I think it'd be perfect. Replace him with somebody else. But yeah, I think it's just a perfect movie. I love the way it's shot. Um, love the way the scenes intertwine with each other. I just it's so I just love the way it ends because you know that Vincent is dead.
Yeah.
You know, I just love the way it ends because he's still alive as the movie's ending. So you just know like what you know what his fate is gonna be, obviously. So
Yeah.
I just enjoyed that.
And especially like their dynamic being like the best part of the movie, even though he dies, you still get more of it before, the movie ultimately wraps up.
Yeah, that's true. I love that.
For me, give me uh I'm gonna line veto Harvey Weinstein's name out of the opening credits because that thing
Okay.
popped up right at the beginning. I was like, oh, that sucks. Not that he, again, he's gonna have any control over anything in the movie, but just seeing his name is a shitty reminder
Yeah, good
of
call.
him. So fuck him. And I wish he could take his name out of the credits, post mortem.
But you know who I didn't expect to see in the credits as executive producer?
Do you want me to steal it or you want to do
No, still
it? No, go ahead.
Danny DeVito. Love it.
Yeah,
Good for him.
He's been involved in a lot of things, and he is a fantastic human.
he really is. And him getting the bag from Jersey Mike's.
That's right. Did he?
He's been in like all the Jersey Mike's commercials lately.
I don't really see commercials much anymore. So good for him. He also directed one of the best films of our generation.
Twins.
That's right. It's Matilda.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie.
Fantastic movie.
Robbie, have you seen Matilda?
No, I have not.
We're doing it.
Let's do it.
He also directed one of my favorites, but I think most people hate it. Death to Smoochie. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I do want to see that though, because I've heard it's like a cult classic.
So good. Ed Norton, fucking Robin Williams. Can't beat that. And that thing's rated 6.3 on these fucks don't fuck
It's
them.
like an all-star cast, right?
I mean, it's like I said, it's Ed Norton, Robin Williams, Catherine Keener, Danny DeVito's in it also, John Stewart's in it, I mean, there's a couple other people. I mean, Harvey Fierstein, love him,
He's the best.
the best. But no, it's just I
He's
mean, I
he's
like
in what, Mrs. Doubtfire?
yeah,
Yeah, the best.
as as his brother, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do the makeovers, love it. Um So anyway, uh, yeah, I think you're right, Benny. Get Weinstein's name off that shit and perfect film. So could we, even though we couldn't make it better stylistically or writing or anything like that, could we make it better by casting a young Matt Damon in one of these parts? I don't know. Benny, go first.
Sorry, Robbie.
It's okay. I'm picking him anyway.
Give me Matt Damon as Jimmy. Come on, think about the star power in that scene with Matt Damon, Harvey Keitel, Samuel L. Jackson, and Johnny T. What a scene that would have been. That would have maybe pushed us to an 11 or a 12 for me. He would have been great in that. He probably would have not wanted to say the hard R. So give me Matt Damon in that spot.
Great choice.
Robbie, you want to go?
Yeah, give me a young Matt Damon as Jimmy. Please, like Benny said, star power off the charts. I probably would have needed about 3 or 4 different pair of shorts if I saw young Matt Damon on screen as Jimmy. Yeah, like Benny said, he wouldn't have thrown the hard R out there, and he just would have brought so much charisma. Just him opposite Harvey Keitel would have fucking put this movie into the stratosphere. Probably blown it right to Mars. So yeah, give me young Matt Damon as Jimmy.
I love. We didn't mention it, but I love the scene with Jimmy and the wolf, and they're talking about yeah, your Uncle Marcellus is a
Yes.
millionaire. What would you say if he decided to furnish you with a whole new bedroom set?
Yeah.
Like, I just love that whole scene. So good. Pine
My
is
favorite.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. Oak. Was it oak or was it pine?
Oak.
I don't know. Oak is nice. Yeah, oak.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna say I'd love to see a young virile Matt Damon in the role of Brett. Look at the big brain on Brett.
Yeah, Goodwill
Just
Hunting.
yeah, having his burger eaten, getting shot, trying to explain his way out of it. Like, would have been fantastic. Those baby blues looking right at Samuel L. Jackson. Maybe he might have lived. Those dimples would have kept him alive.
Would have been a whole different movie.
True. Yeah. Um, so is there anything else from about this movie or about Tarantino in general that we should talk about?
What do we think of the 10? The first 10 is out there.
I'm okay with it. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I almost gave it a 10 myself, so I have no problem with that.
I couldn't give it a 10.
No.
I honestly thought you were gonna reset the Ryan
Scale.
scale and give this one a 10 just so you could feel better about Shawshank and everything. But that was one of the things Aya asked me when we did our little recap after the movie was, do you like this better or Shawshank? And we touched on it earlier, and it's easy and hard to compare the two because
Right.
Shawshank's just a great film.
Right.
Like, it's just a great story, great acting. It's I loved everything about it. But Pulp Fiction just felt like fun. It was like a fun movie to watch. It
It's
was,
cool.
yeah, it was cool. I could definitely see myself watching that in like 11th or 12th grade and making my whole personality based around that movie.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
Tarantino was definitely like Robbie and I talked about this, how when you're younger, things that you like are like trading cards where you're just like, yo, do you like this band? Or do you like this thing? And Tarantino is one of them. Like, did you see Pulp Fiction? Oh, you didn't? You're fucking lame or whatever. But no one talked about Shawshank like that. That was, it wasn't cool. Like Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction was cool.
Yeah. Well, not to bite on Going Gray style, but Robbie, do you have any? Can you expand a little bit on the first watch you did with your pops and Uncle Donald? Was there any regret by them to let you watch that at 11 years
Yeah.
old? Or
Did they get in trouble from your mom or something? Like, why are you letting them watch this shit?
No, I was watching the Playboy channel on my brown box, channel 37, like at 8 years old. So no,
Yeah.
it was go ahead.
I was just gonna say the more I talk to you, the more I understand why you are the way you are.
What's that? Like the fonts? Cool.
That's right. Cool. I
Uh,
wish I wasn't allowed to watch like I mean, my parents
well,
weren't super strict, but they were pretty strict about what I watched.
yeah, I mean, well, my parents weren't saying, okay, it's Playboy Channel hour. It was
I
me being a
know.
fucking wackadoo going and watching it.
I know.
Robbie,
Um,
it's Spice Sunday. Get in there and watch your Spice for 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you got 2 hours to get in there, get in and get out. Um, no, I don't know. It's so long ago that I forgot. But I just know that they were just like my Uncle Donald, like he seems like a guy that doesn't say a lot, but he does love to laugh at stupid shit. And I was just remember him laughing hysterical at this movie. And my dad too. My dad doesn't laugh a lot. Takes a lot from the laugh, but he was laughing at this movie as well. So it was like this three of us just sitting there. It did get awkward during the gimp scene. Stuff like that always gets awkward. Like always watching a sex scene, like with my parents, gets awkward still to this day. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I wish I could remember more than that, but I just know the three of us just loved it after we watched it. And there was so many times when we were laughing throughout the entire movie that I could just remember like my dad and Uncle Donald pretty much laughing at everything that Samuel L. Jackson was saying in that movie. And I don't know, I just loved that movie from the beginning. And it's such a cool movie and such a, again, I use the word hip, but it's just so cool. And nothing was really done like that before. It was so refreshing to see something like that on the screen, and just how witty and sharp the dialogue was. I just loved it. I really do think that's what turned me on to just being a dialogue guy, this movie.
That,
Yeah.
and you brought up Samuel L. Jackson there. It made me think of the line that we didn't mention that does get a lot of play these days, and it's English, motherfucker. Do
Do
you
you
speak
speak
it?
it? Yeah.
Oh, it's such a he's so good in
They
this movie,
speak
man.
English and what?
Oh yeah, so good.
So many good lines. No, it's and Benny, was I correct earlier in saying like kind of connected with my statement, like it was like part of, oh, you're cool if you saw it, you're not if you're not. Like, was this one of the biggest, like you would get the most shit for not seeing films,
For
or
sure. Yeah.
was there something else that was worse?
It's usually this. Depending on the crowd that I'm in,
Right.
it was Scarface gets a lot of that.
Scarface
But
is overrated as fuck.
yeah, I mean, I've seen like
Okay.
scenes of it, and I don't know if I would like love it too much, but it's usually Pulp Fiction.
Uh, hello. Hey, you guys
Hey,
there?
hey now.
Yeah.
Wow. First time since I hardwired. What the hell's going on?
Did you see the video? It's on Instagram, maybe on TikTok too, where it's Grease. It's the song from Grease. It's like "Tell Me More, Tell Me More." Have you seen that? So they're
No.
doing it. It's like, I guess, I don't know if Travolta's singing it or whoever's singing it, and it's Tell Me More," and it cuts to Jules saying, "Does he look like a bitch?"
I love it.
Oh man, I need to see that.
Please, because you don't know it's coming. Like the first time I watched it, I was watching, and then he fucking pops up asking, "Does he look like a bitch?" And I fucking lost it.
That's so great. I need to see that.
So, Benny, I know you kind of said why you gave it a 10, but I guess I want to hear more as to what made it a 10. Like, was it the dialogue, the best, or was it the performances, or was it how it just jumped, in non-chronological order?
It's everything, right? But I think the main thing for me was the characters and the dialogue between them. Like I said, that opening scene when they're just bullshitting in the car, like had me hooked. It felt real. The characters were just amazing to me. The chemistry between all of them. I do love a non-chronological story just because it allows you to look back on things and pick out like Easter eggs and things that they were hinting at. And like I said, that final scene to me was just like the cherry on top. But I knew that it was going to be like a 9.99 or a 10 when, like I said, I wanted to watch it again. And even though, especially that it was, I love Shawshank, but I was like, I'm not doing 2.5 hours again. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
And I was like, the past couple of days, I was like trying to, all right, if I start it now, I can finish it by the time I have to do X, Y, or Z. And that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, I fucking love this movie. It's perfect. There's not an ounce of fat on it. I feel like there's nothing I would take out of the movie. So many times the past couple of weeks we're like, all right, you could have cut 10 minutes here, especially like in Jaws. You mentioned you can cut like 15 minutes out of the beginning. There was nothing on this movie I could look back on and say I didn't need that. So yeah, the dialogue, the characters, the story itself, the way it was told, all that stuff, it was just, to me, perfect.
Yeah, so good. Like you said, there's nothing in this movie that I would cut. Um, I love the long. They're not drawn out, but they're pretty long scenes. You know, all these different kind of stories are are long, and I love them, but they're never stale. And they never got to a point where I was like, all right, enough Vincent or enough Mia or enough Butch. Everything was just so fresh and everything would just kept you on the edge of your seat. And it's just like it's not an action movie. It's just dialogue, people talking about fucking burgers and foot massages and stupid catch up fucking jokes. Like
Fox
it's
Force 5.
yeah, and milkshakes and uncomfortable silence.
$5 milkshake is a fucking bargain these days.
I know. I love how the milkshakes are $5, and that's crazy, but 3 grams of heroin is $900.
Right.
But that's cool.
Yeah.
Even to, I was, as you were, talking right now, Robbie, I was like, would I like a director's cut of this movie? Like, would I want like a uncut version where you get more stuff? And I was like, maybe not. Maybe they did everything that they needed to do in this movie. But I would have, the one thing that I felt like I maybe would have wanted more of was more Mia stuff.
Yeah.
Like that would have been cool to get a little bit more from her, just because I did like that character, and I had brought her up as like another version of Kate Hudson, like that kind of manic,
Dream pixie girl.
yeah. And she was like, I thought, do you think that she's your least favorite character? I was like, no, she fucking did it right. She killed it. She was awesome in the movie. So I would have liked a little bit more from her. We've talked about how the movies we watch have been a little bit of a sausage fest so far.
That's true.
So it would have been nice to have a little bit more of her. Maybe we watch Monster or something next week. We get a nice leading lady.
Yeah. League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I could have done with a little bit more Mia.
Yeah, I loved another line that I say all the time is when she goes to the bathroom and does coke, she says, I said, God damn.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think, not to like make it a 9-hour podcast, but I think that even like Tarantino, there's like 6 Tarantino scenes that are probably in my top 10 favorite scenes of all time. There's a few here, obviously the Ezekiel and the end, the diner scene. You got Inglourious Basterds again, the opening shot and the bar scene. And you have DiCaprio's fucking fantastic monologue at the dinner scene in Django. It's just fucking phenomenal. There's just so many great scenes that and so exceptionally written that Tarantino does. It's so memorable that I love.
Another thing with him too, like I want to know how his mind works, that he laid out all the scenes in the order that he did. Like, was that something that he wrote the complete story first and then he worked with somebody to arrange them that way? Or did that all just come from him? Is that how his mind works? That'd be interesting to know.
Supposedly, and I'm looking right now that there was a hold on. Roger Avery,
Hmm.
who has done things like um Rules of Attraction, love that fucking movie. I mean it's based on a book, but um True Romance, like Reservoir Dogs. He did a lot of stuff with Tarantino, and allegedly the um I guess the production company or whoever was just like, no, we want it to be like written and directed by Tarantino. So he kind of got cut out from getting a writing credit. And he hasn't worked with Tarantino since. But supposedly a good bulk of the um fuck, which one? I forget which scene, but a bulk of it was written by Avery, allegedly. So maybe, maybe him and Tarantino worked on the chronology of it or whatever.
I wonder if it was some of the Bruce stuff, because the Bruce stuff didn't feel 100% Tarantino to me.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean it's certainly possible. I forget which one it was, but something.
Tarantino didn't wasn't the only director in this movie.
Really?
Yeah,
Who else?
Robert Rodriguez directed
Oh yeah, that's right.
the
Uncredited. Yeah.
shots. Yeah, the shots that Tarantino was in.
Yep. Good
So
good call. Good piece of trivia.
hey,
Good
thank
pull.
you.
Good
Hey,
pull. That's what they
hey,
say in the biz.
who would have thought? Huh?
Who would have thought? Not me.
Not me either.
Not us. Who would have thought that we'd be sitting here talking to each other about fucking anything for an hour and a half? Not me.
Not me. It's technology, baby. Technology.
How
Let's
about
go another
that?
90. Let's go another 90.
Absolutely not. You guys can if you want.
Let's talk about where the wolf is right now.
Ah, somewhere.
He's kicking back on a beach, getting he's got a drink in one hand, a lady in the other arm, and another one giving him the old dome.
Yeah, the old, and then the other one give me the old fucking Rumpelstiltskin in the back.
um, so anything else about Pulp Fiction?
Email us, man. Let us
Yeah,
know.
please. What did we forget? But what did we say? Awesome. Benny,
Yeah,
take it
like
away.
even what's his like even the Whiz Kid is a fucking tremendous Tarantino fan. Please give us some feedback of what you love and some of your favorite scenes. I always love to hear from you because you write so well and you always have great thoughts. So yeah, please. Even Benny, don't you have what's that guy's name? Kenny, right? The guy that
Yeah,
directed the 100th episode. Tell him to
yeah,
write in. I want to know he's very talented dude. I want to know his take, his Tarantino takes.
yeah. Because it's funny. We go back and forth every time I put a poll up because it's either, how the fuck have you not seen these movies? You're not allowed to have a podcast about watching movies if you haven't seen these. He wants us to watch The Big Lebowski pretty bad.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I sent him that movie, A Taxi Driver, that I want to do with you guys one of these days.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen that one. I'd be interested to know what he thinks about that. So he's good. I definitely want to get his opinion on one of these.
Yeah. Robbie, have you ever seen Big Lebowski?
I have not. No.
Oh, yeah, we gotta do that soon.
Put the poll
Um,
up.
yeah, maybe. Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll be in the next vote. We'll see.
Oh, one last thing I wanted to shout out was shout out to the one vote that we got for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was Aya, who's been
Yeah,
asking me
shout
to
out.
watch that movie for so long. Maybe we'll just watch that one on our own time because she's
Yeah,
been
you
wanting to see
should.
it for a long time.
Yeah, oblige the
I
lady.
will, but I've had my excuse now, being like, well, I'm probably gonna do a podcast with the guys on it, so we'll wait. But I feel like I'm in a Quentin Tarantino headspace now. We can knock that one out.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
Stars.
love it. Have you watched The Bear yet? Season 2?
I'm 4 episodes in.
Okay. Well, maybe when you finish, we'll do it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and if you have, and I mean you, the listener, have any suggestions for us, like Benny said, please email us. Let us know. Um, and maybe we'll entertain that idea. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of movies
One
that, please.
one final thing.
Please.
I was going through our DMs and I saw that G
Yes.
Marie asked if we had seen A Few Good Men.
Yes.
I have not seen that. Robbie?
Bits and pieces, but not the whole thing.
All
Okay.
right. So maybe we'll put that on the
Maybe we'll
burner for like Labor Day or something like that.
Yeah. Sounds
How
good.
about how about all the day?
Flag Day.
Flag Day pass.
All good days. All right. So I think let's wrap it up there. Thank you so much for listening to us ramble on. We appreciate it. And like we said, email, review, follow, all that fun stuff.
Vote.
Vote, please, so Robbie doesn't have a fucking aneurysm.
I'll stick them on you. I swear I will.
Please. I'm one step away. I got the fucking the shot collar on, so I don't say anything right now.
But we love you. And Robbie, tell him good night.
Night night, Marcellus Wells. Keep your butthole tight.
Robbie, can you grab me my wallet? It's the one that says bad motherfucker.
I said, God damn.